and welcome back to Losing It. This week, we're going to talk about building momentum, getting your head back in the game. That's a phrase I hear a lot. Getting your head back in the game, building momentum, and getting back into the plan in the quickest and easiest ways possible.
Yeah, and actually not waiting for your head to get
Yes,
back in the game because you
don't
can be
wait for
sitting
that.
waiting for that till Christmas, can't you?
Yeah.
Stop waiting for divine inspiration because it may strike one day, but it's flaky as, and it comes and it goes. And when you start doing something, even if you aren't doing it perfectly, with the pressure to be 100% perfect, you figure out what works and what doesn't, and you start. Inspiration follows the action rather than the other way around. And I say that as somebody that has sat on her hands waiting for it to strike.
Oh, I think we all have. And we all have that myth that, oh, when I feel more motivated, when my head's back in the game, it will all be perfect, right?
It
But
will be
actually,
it
it's
will
the
be
action that
easy.
creates that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also it will be easy. It'll be so easy that all I have to do is start and then it's the thing is it's unreliable. We're human beings. So, especially women with our hormones, you find that with our cycle, our motivation for a plan that we were so gung-ho for last week, it starts to wane. And that you can internalize that as a criticism, like you're fading, you've done something wrong. It's not. It's perfectly normal. Momentum, however, is in your control. And that's the difference because you can always choose to take one small action. And Heidi and I have said it a lot, but we want the plan to be doable on a day when you don't want to. Those small actions are always doable. Break them down into things that, they don't have to be big, elaborate. I just can't cope with them today because I guarantee there will be a wet Wednesday when you don't want to do whatever you've said you wanted to commit to doing. People joke about, I hate full me when she goes supermarket shopping because then snack me gets really resentful of her because she goes to the cupboard at 9 o'clock at night and there's nothing there. We do that. We make the perfect plan on a day where we're feeling super committed to it. And then we've overcomplicated it for ourselves. So those small actions of doing the basics brilliantly, committing to your water, staying organized with your meal replacement products, knowing what your step two meal is going to be. That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much, isn't it? That's it.
Yes, and when you take positive action for yourself, you put yourself back in control. And even just taking one positive action for yourself, even if that is just making an appointment with your consultant or making an appointment because you want to start plan and you're like, right, let's just get the appointment in the book and then I'll deal with everything else after that. Suddenly you're in control. Suddenly you feel better all of a sudden because you made the choice, you made the decision. It's not happening to you. And you've already started building momentum before you even know it. And you sort of
Yes.
feel much better because when you feel better, you make better choices, right?
I think so, yeah, because those small wins, it's the self-respect of having been
Yes.
brave and taken the action. And actually, this advice can be quite humbling,
Yeah.
because it kind of can go up against everything that the current narrative. Whereas actually, those little steps that you can complete, that's where the self-respect comes in. You're doing what you said you were going to do. So when I said about being imperfect, we don't like that. If I'm going to do this plan, I'm going to hit it really hard and I'm going to be 100%. Well, you can be 100% on an offset plan.
Yeah.
You could start on a higher step and key back into it over a few weeks. It doesn't have to be double or nothing, or it doesn't have to be all your chips on the table, boom or bust, because then you're putting so much pressure on yourself that if you're not in, you are out. You're out of the game. Why? Why would we do that? We would never, no fellow ever left behind. We are taking you with us. And that is also the momentum of having a consultant who can almost talk you down. When I say a consultant, I mean me or Heidi, obviously. But it's having
Odds.
somebody to talk you down because we do, especially at this time of year, don't you find? We're starting to talk a big game. It's
Oh, yeah.
all
Like,
going, this is the year.
yeah, September's coming. I've got 4 months. I could lose 4 stone.
The thing
I'm
is, it
on it.
is the year. It totally
And
can
it
be.
totally is. And that energy is part of the momentum that gets you to take that first positive action.
Yes,
So we're not poo-pooing that and being like, no, that's not important. That is what gets you to do that first push, to take the
it's the
first
first
step,
bit.
and
It's
you
the
need
first bit.
it.
Yes.
But then after that, it becomes a bit more practical.
And also, can I just on that note, with the whole, just jump on. Just jump on, give it a week, see how you feel, like it or lump it. I have an issue with that because when you change your regime, especially off the back end of a summer holidays, if yours have been anything like most of ours, Your sugars are running kind of, kind of high. You might have even put on a bit of weight. You're probably not brilliantly hydrated. If you're anything like the rest of us, then you've been run ragged trying to name and locate all of the school uniform, get everybody organised. You're hemorrhaging money on new lunchboxes and pencil cases left, right, and centre, or whatever your version of this is. That also builds the steam of, but September, man, that's going to be perfect. That's going to have to be perfect. It's overcompensatory behaviour where you're then punishing yourself. Diet becomes a punishment again rather than a self-care exercise. And that's where the self-respect lies, in being congruent, in showing up for yourself in small, hydrating, consistent ways. And you aren't going to feel brilliant at the end of the first few days of any big change, any big regime change, giving up sugar, reducing your carbs, intermittent fasting, juicing,
Giving up
anything,
coffee, any of the
giving up
things that we're trying to
caffeine.
do just outside of a diet plan.
First week or two, just because your brain has made all these bold statements, all of these campaign slogans, your body just needs time to get the message. She's going to take a little while to recalibrate and catch up with this new regime. So if you still feel tired and a bit, like, whoa, I can feel the change, you've got to have the grit to stick with it through week 2 and week 3 and not say, well, I didn't like the taste of that, so I'm just going to stop, or I felt a bit tired and sluggish. You will. You will, and that's normal, and that is where we are. That's why we're coming at the grit of building that momentum, because you don't stitch yourself up like that. I want to sort of save you from the mistakes that I've made, Heidi's made. It's completely usual to do that, but I think having us in your corner will really help you to manage those expectations.
Yeah,
It's
and I think
always a
rather
game of
than
checks and balances, isn't it? Like, I want to be able to turn to you and say, yes, it's challenging. It's, stop this talk where it's going to be super easy. It gets super easy. But right now, stay as close as you need to while I remind you that all the time we're on the side of, but is it worth it? We're good.
yes. And I would say rather than going into this setting those big weight loss goals and put the pressure on, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds in my first week. Well, firstly, that's something you can't necessarily control or know, because you can do the plan, but your body is doing the rest and you don't get a say in that. But also, I would say focus instead on what are you committing to. That's what we're saying, isn't it? Don't
Yeah.
go, I'll give it a whirl. Commit to it. I am going to do this no matter what
And
for the next
exactly
six
that.
weeks.
If you reframe it from I'm going to lose this amount of weight to I'm going to commit to looking after myself better for a month, and a time measured goals, smart goal setting, that's a separate video. But if it is smart, timed, realistic, all of those things, then you can manage your expectations of the lows as well as the highs. Of course, we talked last week about being allowed to celebrate,
Yes.
but it's when you tune in that there is so much positive happening, but it will happen, especially if you haven't done plan before. It will happen with those pulling down of your blood sugars, which you can really feel. You might get all sorts of side effects that, it lists them all and you think, oh, they just happen to other people. But it might happen, some of those things might happen to you. Come and talk to us about them. Let's change your meal replacements out. Let's offset the plan. Let's make it suit you better, because all sorts of things happen. Some people become ketogenic. Now that comes with a whole raft of side effects as well. Again, so it's just not having that guide to get you through. Somebody said something to me this week, which I want to shout from the rooftops. And it's out of the mouth of my slimmer. I wish I'd been there with like an old school dictaphone to record her saying it. But it all happens anyway. All the things
Yes.
that people are looking for with weight loss injections from day dot, it all happens with our plan. Now, as a consultant, I know that. As a slimmer, I've also experienced that. And I want to be able to shout from the rooftops, but we've got to get you there in the first place. And that, I don't think on any plan, in any way, that comes with a complete absolution of some responsibility, because I believe that responsibility is where that joy and that pride is coming from.
Yeah, when you show up for yourself, you take the action, you make the choice.
This is something that I get to do,
Yeah.
not something I have to do. This isn't a punishment for some previous bad behavior.
And proving that to yourself you can do it, and your confidence in yourself to make good decisions for yourself starts to return, and that has a knock-on effect that builds that momentum over time. You start proving to yourself that it is possible, that maybe I could do this. Oh, it is going okay. Oh, Nelle, Heidi, I do have that support there. They do have good advice. Oh, that did work. And that's where that momentum builds. And so it is about taking action for yourself. Waiting for motivation and inspiration is such a passive thing. It's, again, it's happening to us. We don't need
Mm.
to wait for things to happen to us. We can make the decision for ourselves. We can show up for ourselves. We can say, I am going to just keep going with the plan and keep going with my consultant, with the appointments, stay in touch for the next 6 weeks.
I
And I'm
think
going to look at how that works out.
just from those 6 weeks, just from day dot, taking the responsibility to figure out what works for you and what doesn't, and being somewhere super pragmatic between it has to hurt to work. No, some people don't get any side effects at all, but
Yeah.
we are in a culture at the moment where it has to feel the burn, with it has to hurt to work, or miracle weight loss injection.
Yeah, there's no
Doesn't
balance
have
in
to,
the middle.
there's no ba there's no
No
balance.
ability to be
And
a
I
normal
think that that is
person.
what we have been quietly, consistently
Yeah.
offering all these years. And maybe it's only in the current climate since the introduction of available weight loss medication, which I've got nothing against, but I think it's only since then that we've really realized that that's what we've been offering all this time. And I've been kicking myself going, why haven't we been making a big song and dance about that then? Well, just because we didn't have it's actually that's what's shined the light on it. I've always been very much it doesn't have to hurt to work. Let's make it something that you get to do. And
Yeah.
that's taking ownership of it. I think there is an enormous sense of pride in taking responsibility. And I think that's partly why people choose different things that suits them. And I'm all for that. I want everybody to win. But I do think we need to make a really big fuss about how from day dot, people who might worry that taking meal replacement doesn't build back that structure for the future of keeping it off from day dot. That's exactly what we're doing because we're
Yes.
working with you as an individual to find the right plan for you. You are learning about yourself and learning the skills that you're going to need to be able to stabilize and maintain, even when you don't look like you are, even when you might just be using 3 meal replacements a day. It is phenomenally empowering.
Yes, and in the same way that some people may choose medication to reduce some of the overwhelm, prop them up a little bit to learn some of those skills, put some of these things in place, get the good advice that they need, and figure out where the holes are that need plugging, where the behaviors are that need tweaking. Meal replacements are exactly the same. They are reducing the overwhelm whilst you are getting the magic of meal replacements, which you don't get sometimes with other things, is you are getting the nutrition your body needs. You're getting the vitamin and minerals. They are nutritionally complete. So they're propping everything up. They're fueling your body. They're also reducing the overwhelm. They're allowing you space to look at all the other things that might have needed tweaking so that you are building those skills over time. And then we have a very structured plan that has been proven to work over the years and through scientific studies
Which I
that
think people
moves you
feel
to
very,
maintenance.
very supported by because not only have we been around for 110 years, but because they experienced it from the very beginning. Well, Heidi's advice got me this far. So why would I stop trusting it now? Like Nell was right about the weight loss bit. So surely Nell's going to be right about the stabilization and maintenance bit as well. But
Yeah.
another thing that a lot of people who are successfully doing the one-to-one, and they will voluntarily, they'll share and they'll ask us what we think about weight loss medication and no, because they're also toying with it. We all are, I've been in positions in my life where I would have been really attracted to it as well. So it's important for us to incorporate it, understand it, and work with. That's our whole MO is work with where you're at, not against you. It's not even necessarily an either or.
I was going
It's
to
a
say it can
gather
be
up
together.
all the best bits that this slimming group has to offer, all the best parts of weight loss medications, all the best things that we have to offer, and bring them together with really good, expert, experienced guidance. But if you could do it and it tasted like salted caramel bites, why wouldn't you? That's all I'm saying. I
Exactly.
mean, that's all I'm saying. That's what I'm getting from a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly that. And it all just starts with doing one thing that moves you a little bit closer down the line and starts building that momentum and the routine you would like back in. I've talked a lot about slimmers that are already on plan, but have maybe been a bit more flexible over summer and just sliding back in for the last week or so. And it has been things like regularly get our water in, get used to having all of our products back in our routine, all of that, and slowly moving back to the steps that they want to do, which
And
works
also
really
remember,
well.
physiologically, a lot of what people are attracted to with weight loss medication is the reduced appetite, and they're not having to think about it, and it working. We get all of that from doing that. So that's why I think when I say stay as close as you need to for the first couple of weeks, getting that setup right,
Yeah,
you're so
gives
much.
you that benefit.
Yeah, and then that awful pressure of I've got to be super motivated all the time. I've got to want this. I've got to have, I've got to have it in my face all the time. That, I mean, focus by all means, constant, it takes a bit of concentration, but that completely all consuming, I think that's what a lot of us don't want. We're busy grown-ups. We don't have time for this to be, for Project You is the most important project you'll ever work on, but for it to be 100% of what we do, and then it become my personality. I don't want it to become my personality. I want it to be able to fit into the life that I'm already living, because my head is taken
Yes.
up with work and with children and with life and with all the other things,
And
especially
we
in
don't need to
September.
add more stuff in.
And we don't need to add more, and so sometimes the shorthand for saying is, meal replacements take away the thinking and counting, but it's more than that. They take away all of that, the weight of responsibility, the weight of carrying weight, the mental
Yes,
load,
the
if you
mental
like,
load of it
is,
and
yeah,
having
is
to
enormous.
constantly think about it.
The physiological benefits kick in, so it's not all mind over matter. That we really work on that body mind connection and working in synergy, so that your body has time to, we can really communicate what we're looking for, what we want our body to do and the way we want it to respond. And because we're using meal replacements, we kind of minimize all the variables. Same amount of water, we've got the consistency down to an absolutely fine art, again, on your plan, the one that has been designed specifically for you. Your stomach shrinks down, your appetite disappears.
Your blood sugars are nice and level suddenly.
You're not getting all those peaks and crashes. We're doing all the same things. If you are doing your research and thinking, well, either or either both, and all of that melee of just let's start. I think
Yes,
that's really what this video should be called.
let's
Let's
just start.
start and have that much more personal, bespoke planning for you, because
Yeah,
you are at the center of this, your opinion and how you live your life, and what you are and aren't prepared to do in pursuit of this, so that it doesn't take over your life, so it doesn't feel like a punishment. That is our priority. It always
yeah,
will be. The plans are the plans, but you are more important. I will always say we work with meal replacements. They are, they're very predictable, right? But
yeah.
we work with the people that take them, and they are
People
not.
are not predictable. It's very disappointing when you find out you're not
People are
perfect. It's
not
very disappointing.
predictable.
And it is that thing. You got to use a little bit of that commitment and that forward momentum in the first few weeks. Stay close to your consultant. Then all those other benefits that are being promoted out there, like not feeling quite so hungry, not having to think about food all the time, just it
Getting to
running in
eat
the
salted caramel
background,
bites.
nice and simply, whilst I can concentrate on everything else that is happening in life. That comes with it. That is part of it, and that is what you get when you come to either me or Nell, that expertise to guide you through that beginning process so you can grab those benefits and run with them
Absolutely. This
and get
week I've
everything
been
you
working with
need.
my clients, mums, teachers, nurses, back to workers, all of us, and we've been running little mini challenges to get our first few days, get our first week on plan bagged up, elastic bands around sets of products, to take them to school because they're on inset days already. So, secret squirrel, there's a spare backup bar or a ready-made
The
shake in
mini
the
golf
staff
box.
room in the country that I've got slimmers in. But we've also been doing outfits. We've also been doing shopping lists for the end
Yeah.
of the first week, because people's brains are just absolutely blown. So we've been picking our favorite step 2 meals, our favorite step 3 meals, getting ourselves organized so that we can just make this part of our life, and not, now I've got a clear run at it, I'm going to really hit it hard for this period of time. I like the time measurable goals, like we said, but again, anything we can do to just keep going, stay in the game one step at a time. This cat really wants cuddle right now. And we don't have to overcommit or over pressurize.
Yes, you can just book the appointment and just turn up. And we will make a plan together that feels doable for you, that will work, and we'll just start doing it. And I know that sounds like an oversimplification because we
I,
want to complicate it for
I
ourselves.
think
But
after everything you've just said, and my brain works like this as well. I did 7 stone on the one-to-one diet. I absolutely get it. It was that it was very straightforward and I could
yes,
just start. It wasn't until I just started that I realized this, because before that, what I was doing my research and hot-housing myself into thinking,
me
this is
too.
it.
Me
Once
too.
I do it, there's no
Yeah.
going back. I'm on it for.
And then when I realised, like you, it's actually very structured. It's quite straightforward. That can just be running alongside everything else. I don't really have
Yeah.
to worry about it for a bit. Oh, grand.
we can sit here and point it out, but until you try it for yourself, you might not believe us because it might sound a bit woolly. Heidi
Yes.
and I are the least woolly people that you will
And
ever.
also, sometimes it sounds too good to be true. With any weight loss plan, we're always a little bit suspicious, but it really does work like that. And part of that reason is the type of plan we have
Yes,
because
it's
we are
not
treatments.
faith-based. We are the most
No.
clinically evidence-based diet out there.
Oh,
And
we do so many
that
research
kid in
papers,
class
don't
that's
we?
going, why? But why? But why?
Yeah.
I also want to understand everything. So if you're looking for a nerdy consultant, then Heidi and I are your girls.
We will point you to
But
all the research
I
papers.
don't like woolly either. But sometimes when I was carrying, and I see this in my slimmers on a weekly basis, when you're carrying the mental load of being overweight or obese, and then you're struggling with the overwhelm and the mental load of the diet and all the thinking and the counting, and you're vacillating between the two. Sometimes you just want somebody to just do as you're told.
You just want someone to tell you what to do. That's
Somebody
what
you
I
trust,
wanted.
somebody whose advice that you can take on the chin. But the relief,
Yeah.
I'm very I can play that part in your life right now,
Yeah.
and I can personify the overwhelm when you are busy looking after and making decisions for everybody else, left, right, and center in your life. This is the one place where you can have me or Heidi in your back pocket, telling you what to do. Breathe in, breathe out, 1 foot, one step at a
One
time.
decision you don't really
Drink
have
your
to make.
water, 1 foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, pick your
Exactly. And
outfit
that's
because that 6 o'clock alarm is gonna it's gonna bite hard, isn't it? The
it
next
is.
couple of days.
It is. And that's partly the other reason why just get the appointment in the diary now. Don't wait until next week. Don't be like, well, once I've got the first day under my belt, I'll think about it then. No, because you'll be 2 weeks down the line. Just put the appointment in your diary, get it booked in your schedule, and then worry about it when you get to
Yes,
the
we've
appointment.
both got our diaries are open for September.
Yes.
Of course they are because it is already September when this video goes out, but they have
Yeah.
been for a little while
Yeah.
because a lot of people are looking. We've got a lot of people getting in touch asking. That's how we know we want to talk to you about what's important to you. So we try and cram in as much as we can depending on what your questions and what feedback we're fielding at any given time. And our diaries are both open. They're both linked under here, but also follow us on social media because this is all the kind of stuff that we're talking about consistently. We will say it as many times as you need to hear it. This is not a, well, I understand it, so I should just be able to get on with it. It's not what we're doing here. We're sticking together. This is what support, guidance, and accountability really look like. So don't shy away from it. Take a deep breath, lean into it, book that. We call them initial consultations. They cost nothing. They're as long as you need them to be. You come, you offload, you tell us everything. The more you tell us, actually, the better we know where you're
Yes.
at, where your strengths are, where your blind spots are, what we might need to offer a bit more support in. We can explain the plan, but also the better we understand who you are, then we can offer the advice, the wraparound, the back.
Yeah, the kind of wraparound
Yeah,
support and tailor it to your lifestyle so it suddenly feels doable and actually quite straightforward and easy
and
because we're tailoring it with all the
exactly that.
information that you give us, which is
Exactly that.
why
Don't fall down this black hole of, well, it's just 3 meal replacements and a 200-calorie meal, isn't it? Any idiot can do that because, the way you talk to yourself, honestly, don't think just because you're not saying it out loud that I can't hear you.
we
Stop it.
know. We
Just
know.
because it's a straightforward on paper, life be lifing, as Heidi likes to say. And we do have to actually apply those theoretical understandings to your real life. September
And
is a new year for a lot of people with our current lifestyles, and it is a really nice time to claw a little bit of time back for yourself.
yes,
Commit to yourself.
exactly. And even if you've done the plan before, or and you're like, well, I mean, how much can there be on those lower steps? There can't be much tweaking to be done. Let me tell you,
Oh,
there's a lot of tailoring, even on
oh,
those lower steps, which seems quite simple, to make it work better for you. And that is the expertise that me and Nell come with, is how to, even in that very simple plan, just know where to make those tweaks. And that's like bespoke plan that fits you better and makes it work in the way you need it to work. And that is what that consultation process is about. And don't get scared if you click the link and it asks you for some information. It's just so that when you come to that appointment, we are prepped, we are ready to go. We know what we're talking to you about. We know which of the plans are most likely to fit with you, especially if you're someone that's taking medications or have a medical condition. It's quite important for us to know which direction we're kind of going in. So that's the only reason we're asking for those questions. So don't get freaked out. It's all okay. Everything's confidential. It's going to be all right. It's not going to be an intense meeting. We're going to have a chat. We're going to get to know each other. It's all
I
going to be
love that.
fine.
I really like that. It's kind of like, it's one of the things it's
She
one of
just
the things.
loves you.
It's the white knitwear for autumn. It's my
Yeah.
transitional outfit. That cat just saw me and was like, she needs to be covered in fur. It's the going for the initial look around at the gym,
Yeah.
and the PT shows you all the equipment and you're like, right, so I've been shown that once, so I can run 10K, right? And we all do it to ourselves. And then, what we're trying to do is stop you from falling flat on your face after having run the 1K, and scoop you up and say, where did we get to a point where you can't be proud of that? Having gone
Yes.
from nothing to that, where we say, and by starting, by being brave enough to say, okay, I don't know everything. I would like some guidance and support. And I'm willing to really show up for myself and book those appointments and involve myself in that process. The irony is that's how you run 10K. You'll go all the way with that
Yeah.
attitude, and you will lose all the weight, and you probably will end up running your 10K as well. Stop. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's a society thing. We do it to ourselves. It's somewhere. I'm sure it's a bigger question than I can answer in a short amount of time, or possibly at all. But I know that it's there because I feel it too. And I wonder how many of us are, especially with the overwhelm of weight loss at the moment, is just, and fitness, just knowing where to start, and the fear of having to do it well and be perfect. You know.
Yeah, it's huge, and it has made many of us stuck. You don't go in any direction. You're just stuck where you are. You're almost paralyzed.
And
And
it's
if you're
probably not just
feeling
weight loss
that,
and fitness. It's probably actually it's starting anything. And it's things that we feel like we should know. I think there's a lot of guilt out there and a lot of pressure to be able to, it's so simple, isn't it? But the world is very black and white at the moment. And you deserve, you are allowed to have a bit of privacy to work through the grey area. And that's what we are offering. It's a safe little cocoon. I am your consultant. I'm not, we're not doing this out loud in the world. We're not posting it all over Instagram. This is the way that it suits you. And as long as it gets you there, then you have nothing to be fearful of.
no, and we're bloody lovely. I'm just saying. Um, and in no other area of life would you be wanting to do something and say, I'm going to get no support. You know how to drive a car. It's very simple. You can do lots of research. There are videos of it. You can see people driving a car. You've sat
I
with your
think maybe
parents
that's
your
what I was
entire life. You
circling.
know
Is it
how
that
to drive a car. You're not about to get in one without asking for someone for a
my
little bit
next
of
door
advice
neighbour
on
drives my
practically
next door neighbour drives a car, I've seen
when,
her do it.
yeah, when do I change gear? When do I press that pedal? What is a hill start? When do I use the handbrake? And it's the same thing. You are getting support. When do I have my product? Should I be drinking my water throughout the day? Should I bookend my day? What about those ones over there? Do they work the same? It's just a little bit of guidance and advice so that you can build your expertise and you can figure out what's going to work for you. You may have all the knowledge, but it's hard to apply it to ourselves because we can't be objective on our own lives.
Mm.
It's really, really hard to do
And
that.
there is a lot of shame around,
Yes.
because just because you know something, therefore you should be able to.
Oh, how many times do we hear I should be able to do it?
Yeah, yeah. I did a post about it only recently.
Yeah.
The shoulda, woulda, coulda. Yeah, it
Yeah.
does hold us hostage in lots of areas of our lives. And so you will find lots of videos here of Heidi and I out here spitballing, putting the world to rights, saying it out loud, half saying it out loud. But it's a conversation that is ongoing. We are having it with our slimmers all the time. Come and be part
And
of
with
this.
each other.
Come and
We
be
have it
part.
with each other all
Yeah,
the
of course.
time, you know, how
We
it
want we
affects.
want you to come and be part of this conversation, because if you are out there like any of us were, feeling stuck and alone and victimized by this, that
Yeah.
it is only you that cannot do this, then come and we are out here, which is why we're here,
Why
just
we're out
saying
here
it,
loudly shouting,
yeah,
isn't it?
saying it loud and clear. You just because your knowledge, your ability is never in doubt. Ever,
No.
ever, ever, ever in doubt. Let's just, we'll work it all out together and move forward in the right direction and reduce that overwhelm.
Yeah. Because if there's one body of people that know the most about nutrition, it's people that would like to lose weight. And we're just going to look about the best way to practically apply it to ourselves, basically, is what we're doing. But if you have times with anything we've said today, you would like to use either me or Nell as your consultant, our details are always in that description box down there. And please do like and subscribe, because we put a video out every Monday, having a little chat with you, talking about all the different topics about weight loss and the one-to-one diet. We will see you again next week. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
Bye.